Hello, William Weers, and this is,
Cornerwood.
and we just saw Smith and Jones. So, what did you think?
I liked it, except for one thing. I like the whole sequence visually where the hospital goes to the moon, and I like the way the rain came back at the end in a kind of, I don't know, fertility and coming back to down to earth in many respects. I like the new companion character, somewhat like Rose in that she's not empowered and trapped by her family as Rose starts out being, but more upwardly aspirational, wanting to be a doctor. But also they showed that she has some of the same human sympathies that the doctor seems to look for in his companions, judging by the three that we've now seen, including the former one that comes back for the cameo. And it was sort of lacking in the one in the last episode, the temporary Christmas one, Donna, but one felt that possibly she could grow into it, but it would be a bit of a haul.
Let's find out in series 4.
Yeah, so I liked, well, she was already on her way, but still, for some baby steps. I thought all that was good. I enjoyed the rhinoceros police and their idiocy. It kind of reminded me of the goons in Sleeping Beauty, Disney's Sleeping Beauty. Aren't they? They're kind of like big. I can't remember, but they're big and goon-like that.
Who?
In Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, Sleeping Beauty. Yeah. So I heard Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, those weird troll-like creatures from Maleficent. Every cradle.
Yes.
Cradle.
Yes. So
I think this episode would have benefited from having Maleficent, but anyway.
But I think they were sort of like those goons, and I like the villain. I thought she's a good contrast to the spider woman we had last time, because she's so comical and low key and yet horrible.
Well, if what I really liked with how this was done was all the red herrings. So, first we meet the doctor who has a really evil looking face, and we think, oh, he's gonna be the bad guy. Okay, no. Then we meet these monstrous rhino looking aliens. Okay, they're the bad guys. No, not really. And then
before we met them, we actually saw some of the main villain, as it turns out, her little goons.
Yes.
And they also were candidates for the bad guy.
No, it's the sweet old lady, the last person. So I thought that was really well done.
Right, because usually, as we saw in Fear Her, the sweet old lady is usually someone who alerts others to the problem. So the only thing I really didn't like was after the doctor's been exsanguinated, how did he come back to life?
CPR.
CPR brings him back to life? Are you kidding? And, you've got all these bolts flying around from the MRI thing that the sweet old lady has caused to have extra energy. You can certainly do something with radiation. I mean, that would just be a minimum. What is with these lazy writers? But you still have to take care of exsanguination, because that's not something that, even if you have muscle energy, if you're completely drained of fluids, even if you're a superhero space alien, I don't think you can make it around to press a button or whatever he does at the end. So that really bothered me. It's so lazy, and it wouldn't necessarily have required any more time or anything, just a little thought. Good Lord.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing I can think of is the idea was that the blood got sucked from one of his hearts, and so then the other one is still okay. And so she pumps that heart and gets that one.
That's not how exsanguination works.
I know it's not, but that's the only thing I can think of was what they were trying to go after, because there's that whole little line where she goes, oh, 2 hearts, and then she starts pumping the other one, and that gets it going. But I think that's really reaching, and I had a lot of problems with the ending, not just that. The other problem I had was that they only return because the rhino aliens choose to return them. And when that happens, when the main characters don't have to choose to do something, it just doesn't work very well for me. Because it just felt like, oh, well, the rhino aliens hadn't done anything, they would have all died. And I feel like that sort of takes away agency from our leads.
I don't know. I thought it was emphasizing that the rhinos were that their hearts were in the right, so to speak, despite their silliness.
They gunned down upon.
Their
I don't
evil
know.
silliness.
Like, I'm more willing to forgive it for TARDIS because the TARDIS is sort of like a main character in its own right. So if a TARDIS does something that's not the Doctor or the companion, I'm okay with it. But just that these aliens who seem to have had no real regard for life. I mean, they vaporized that guy for just talking out of turn. They go, oh yeah, we'll return them. But
they have a really high regard for rules.
That's
they just
true.
don't understand them, but because they're not very bright, they have to just follow rules. We all know these people, don't we?
I think our
I know.
police sometimes act like these rhinos. But anyway,
I know way too many people like that.
yeah, I don't know. It's just I'm just not fond of when main characters are basically helpless during the climax. I don't know. Like if the Doctor had convinced the rhinos, or had pointed out, none of these humans have broken the law, just a little something from the main character would have made the ending a lot stronger for me. But then I did really like the post-coda in terms of how the Doctor convinces Martha, I believe her name is, to come with him with the whole time travel trick. I thought that was clever.
Time travel trick. Oh yes, showing her about his tie, that they set that up really.
Yeah,
early
I thought
on.
that was well done.
Yes, that's how to write things in your story.
I think there's been a sort of a pattern with Davies that he's really good at character moments. He's really good at building up exciting plots. Resolutions tend to be a bit hand wavy for him.
What other ones did he do?
Well, he did the one you really hated with the whole mystic energy from the
Oh right.
Yeah.
That's just a gigantic, elaborate hand wave.
Right. So character beats, atmosphere. He has a lot of strengths, but I do feel he does have this weakness that does keep popping up. But I'm willing to forgive it most of the time, including this episode, because I do like the character interactions. I like the back and forth. I do wish some bits were stronger, but I can't hate it because I still think there's so much else that redeems it.
Yeah. Well, that was pretty much what I was saying when I started with all the good things that I liked about it.
Yeah.
Which is not usually my method.
So start with the good, then go to the negative, and head back to the good.
It just goes just so counterintuitive for me. Because, if you're teaching, you need to help people improve. So
yeah, homeschooling was a lot of fun for me.
Well, I think it's my musical background, because if you study music seriously, boy, teachers don't waste a lot of time telling you what you did right, because they've only got 60 minutes or something, and it's got to be perfect. So, and conductors don't care either.
Yeah. But speaking of small moments that Davies does well, I liked how there was that Doctor who was just sort of cowering in front of the rhino aliens, and then when they land on Earth, he goes, "Oh yes, I stood up to them. I told them to stand down." It's just those little moments that make the show. Yeah,
I really like the way that Doctor Who always shows the media reaction, and it really satirizes our media in a good way. And that's why I would give this a B+, even though I find that the exsanguination of the Doctor, not the Doctor who seems bad, but our Doctor Who. We're not supposed to call Doctor Who. Anyway, even though that's appalling, I find the rest of it is quite redemptive. Yeah, in spite of that.
What I also liked was, like, in the Christmas special, Donna had no idea what had been going on, and while I got that was sort of the point of her character, it was kind of a little disappointing with all these end of the world things going on that wasn't having any effect. So I liked, even though I know it was because the actress who played Martha played a character in the finale of series 2. I liked that they had her have a relative who died in the previous episode, because it shows that these alien invasions are having an effect on the common person. It's not just happening to the main characters. I really have trouble with, small universe syndrome, where things are only happening to these exclusive group of people. Right. So I thought that was well handled.
Well, I think the thing with Donna was satirizing people who are really so out of it, and emphasizing her limitedness, which is why her fiance hated her. But I agree that I don't think people are that out of it.
No,
in fact, those kind of people are exactly who will follow rumors of alien spaceships and things in the Weekly World News or whatever.
Right. So I like that she had a connection. I thought that was well done, even though I understand the reason wasn't entirely to do that. Let's see what else about this episode. What did you think of all the humans just like bursting into tears and crying when they landed on the moon?
But did they all burst into tears? Some of them were screaming and worried.
Yeah. They were just all like hysterical.
Well, I think you'd have some kind of reaction.
It just seemed a little over the top.
Yeah, I don't know.
Davies really likes his screaming. I've noticed that a lot of Davies scripts is like a cut to some woman screaming, like it's the old-timey 50s horror film.
I don't know. I didn't really notice that it was disproportionate to the event, especially given it's a hospital and people are already in trouble, and then they're going to, and they I think, and yeah, just realizing how powerless you are. I think there could be hysteria breaking out.
Mm-hmm.
You think of what happens as soon as an airplane starts to have, real serious difficulties. I think you'd have a lot of screaming there, and people getting up and not following the precautions that were laid out by the flight attendant at the beginning. I don't know.
I like the episode still has a few references to Rose.
Yes.
Still not just, throwing her into the dustbin. She's still around even if she's not around, which is good. And it's well done because like if you have seen the series, you feel the weight of it. If you haven't seen it, you still get the sense something happened. So I think Doctor Who is really good at that, juggling serialization without it feeling like we have to see every single episode to get it, the way so many shows do now. And it tells its own little self-contained story each time. So that's good. I give this episode a B-.
Oh, really? You're harder on it than I am.
Yeah, the ending just... not the very ending. I like the very ending with the Doctor and Martha on the TARDIS and the whole, I'm not interested in you. Okay. Where are you? I like that whole beat. And I like the character work, but the desanguination and the whole rhinos just send them back with them not having to do a single thing.
I don't know. I didn't mind the rhinos at all because it was in keeping with their respect for rules. But I guess I think I'm easier on things when I feel there's an obvious solution, like the energy from the MRI machine. You could easily have that get out of hand and zap him, and you think that he's dead, and then suddenly that's what reanimates him, and then you could quickly pump him full of fluids or something, and so it could easily have been solved, which makes it more irritating. And yet, I feel like the plotting wasn't a total fail because the solutions were right there at hand.
And it was clever how the Doctor outwitted the alien with her sucking his blood to make her look alien. So
right.
I thought,
but I saw that coming.
Oh yeah, I think we all did.
Yeah.
I don't think it was supposed to be a surprise, but it was still a good Doctor outwits the bad guy.
Yeah, it was fun. Well, she really played it so that it worked because she was completely. You could see that she was flummoxed because she'd been so full of herself to begin with.
Full of blood. I think she was full of that nasty Doctor head.
I don't know. I think that was her natural personality.
Possible. Yeah. Anyway. Yes, I mean, I liked a lot of it, but it wasn't exactly very thoughtful, so I can't really give it points for that. And I just thought it stumbled a little too much with the ending.
I think I really liked the rhinos. I really liked watching them. I just, I felt entertained through the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, a B- for me, it doesn't mean it's a bad show. It just means, could I watch another episode and get the same experience? Yeah, probably. Could I get more out of another episode with that similar experience? Yeah, probably. Like if I compare it to the introduction to Rose back in the original pilot, I thought there was a lot more going on there with the Doctor's strong level of tragedy, the trying to reason with the blob who was controlling the robots. I don't know. I just felt like when you compare those episodes, like the whole conspiracy guy being vindicated but then tragically dying just as he's vindicated. So, I mean, they're both sort of like bouncy, let's introduce characters' adventures, but when I compare them, Rose is just so much better than this one, in my eyes.
Oh, I just want to say a thing about Martha, if it is that, here's her name, I totally didn't remember, but the new companion's family really reminded me of the Australian show Offspring. I don't know if there was any cross-pollination there, but I liked the way that in Offspring, almost every episode is her family's on the phone with competing demands. So I liked how that was done.
If you see Offspring, stop after season 5. Do not go on. You will have a satisfying ending, and you don't need to worry about whatever the hell they're doing in season 6.
Yes, it's kind of like Scrubs that way.
Yeah.
Well, it's not quite as bad as what happened to Scrubs, but it's still pretty awful.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't pursue it and make it worse.
Yeah, Scrubs stop after season 8. Okay, so we've given you 3 reviews for the price of 1, so I hope you're happy. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.